I heard you yesterday talk about, they proved me wrong. They won a game when Virginia Tech scored 81 points. We're getting really arbitrary here. I think the same thing. I think
Are
the same,
we?
No, I think the same thing applies to the Tar Heels. I think the Tar Heels are very, very simple. Okay, very simple. And we've been right about the Tar Heels the last couple of weeks. Defense is your identity. The question that has not been answered yet was the defense that we saw at the beginning of the season in the ACC in conference play, or what we're seeing now, a regression to what you probably are? I still think that their identity is no defense. We've seen you capable of doing this, but there's ebbs and flows to the season. I get, things can kind of get a little squirrely from time to time. I've spent a good chunk of time kind of adding context to Carolina's losses when they lost 3 out of their last 5 and things like that. Easily explainable things. I think ultimately we're still right. If Carolina is going to make a run, whether it's in Charlotte for the ACC tournament or in March, it is predicated on their commitment to playing defense, because I don't trust them offensively to be consistent enough. RJ Davis kind of falling back down. Sometimes Elliot Cadeau is going to show you he's got offensive skills. Sometimes he's not going to shoot the ball. I think defense ultimately is their difference maker.
Cormac Ryan has shot the ball well lately, so I think that's a positive.
That's positive.
The people want the yellow pad. Give them the yellow pad.
Oh, do I have to pull up the yellow pad? Where's your yellow pad? I have to hold on a second. Vamp while I pull up.
Because you're saying it's arbitrary, but I'm saying they're 17-1 this year when they give up less than 80 points. 17-1. Like the only loss was to Georgia Tech in a game that we can definitely agree was a little bit of a fluke.
So what do we got here? When the opposing team scores 50-59, they're 4-0. 60-69, nice, 8-0. 70-79, they're 5-1.
5-1 with the loss to Georgia Tech.
80-89, 2-5.
2-5. 5 of their 6 losses are when they give up 80 points.
And of course, that 90+ is the Tennessee game where they dropped 100. There's two ways to win a basketball game, Joe.
Definitely
you scored more than the other. Like Adam Silver said at the All-Star game. Well, congratulations. You scored more points. Good for you.
I think the 2-5 stands out in the sense that like their identity and their talent is on the defensive end. I think I was actually right about their roster. And I think that's what this recent stretch has proven. Okay. I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying it like what it was intended as was you have a bus driver in Davis. I think he's the only elite scorer on your roster because Harrison Ingram, rebounder, he's a little bit of a better passer and playmaker than he probably gets credit for. Super hustle, but his strength is really defensively. Then you look at Cormac Ryan. While yes, there have been some games lately where he's been shooting the basketball, I think he's another guy who understands the concepts of team defense. 6th-year player. Here's a guy who kind of knows what he's doing, knows how to fit in and make the players around him better. Specifically, RJ Davis. Cadeau obviously is a variable, as Brad pointed out yesterday. The Heels record when Bacot has big games is not great. Not great.
That's why when getting into this conversation, I'm not going to get too wrapped up in the fact that Bacot had a monster game and they won. I'm not going to get wrapped up in that because we have more data to show. No, it's good.
It's good that they can win that way.
It's good, but I always push back on this business of, no, you got to feed Bacot the ball. No.
Let RJ drive the bus.
Yes.
And I think that was the early season formula. Defend like hell. Defend like your hair is on fire. RJ hits, and then how do you support RJ as that real go-to guy? And I do think you're saying arbitrary, but the truth of the matter is when 5 of your 6 losses are basically because you didn't defend at the necessary level, I think that indicates this is how you can win.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, the NCAA tournament is a random chaos generator, but we know the one thing that travels, and that's defense.
I know what you're trying to prove with the yellow pad stat, but I don't need an arbitrary 81 point to tell me that if Carolina's going to go far, it has to be on defense.
But they also did prove me wrong because they're like, oh, you're over here talking about when we give up 80, we lose.
Yeah.
So what do? They go out and pull a Michael Jordan and say, that's when I took a burst.
Your bigger problem
We're going to give up a late garbage basket just to prove Julio wrong.